While I'm here, I thought I'd recommend 13 nonfiction books that I think everyone should read. Um, I'm inspired. I watched a video earlier today, which was, I believe, 12 nonfiction books that everyone should read. And the books recommended were so pedestrian and horrible self help books and business achieving books um, that I thought it would be fun to recommend um, some books that I think are truly life changing. Um, so I started with the Phaedrus by Plato. I think one could read all of Plato, except maybe for the laws, and be happy. But the Phaedrus is just magical. And he's such a good writer. Um, I think that's the thing that people miss: the irony and the subtlety, the humor and the beauty of his writing. Um, just magical. That's all I'm going to say. The next one is kind of a joke. The Organon. Those are the logical works of Aristotle. Um, but I truly believe that if everyone were to read the logical works of Aristotle, it would be a better world. There's um, there's nothing wrong with understanding how inductive and inductive reasoning work and how rhetoric works. Um, the whole shebang. It's genuinely worth knowing, and it's a slog. I admit that, but um, but it's worth it. Not that anyone's going to read it, but I just thought I'd put it up there. Um, the New Organon by Roger Bacon is it's fantastic. It is credited with um, not inventing exactly, but kind of inventing the scientific method. Um, it's just really good again and um, revolutionary. Um, a Treatise of Human Nature by David Hume. Uh, of all the Enlightenment basic texts, I think it's the best. Hume was a skeptic, but he was a genial skeptic, and it's it's one of my favorites. Hume's one of my favorites, as is The New Science by Giambattista Vico. Um, just Vico had a view of history, a cyclical view of history, but the it was, as far as I know, uh, it was the first time that a thinker stepped back and sort of thought about history in that way, and that perspective, whether one agrees with his specific theory of history or not, again is revolutionary and um, and really fun. Um, the Marx Engels reader. I don't know how. I mean, you know, I was going to try and pick a specific work, but they both have different things to contribute, and there's Das Kapital and the 15th Brumaire and everything in there. I mean, it's it has to be read. Um, the Marxist revolution, if only for its impact on critical theory, but it's again, these are all books that will just pick you up. It's like leaving a great movie. you know, you will see the world differently if you haven't read it. Um, the Wittgenstein's Tractatus, same thing. So so revolutionary, and if one approaches it with a little bit of philosophical understanding, which is all I have, I'm not a philosopher, and a little bit of logical training, and um, I didn't put Saussure on this list. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how interesting Saussure is. The A course on general linguistics is without any context around it. Um, but I think you can get something from the Tractatus for sure. The History of Philosophy by Bertrand Russell. It is one of my favorite books. He's so funny. Um, and and the breadth of his knowledge obviously is enormous. Um, and if you're interested in philosophy, it's it's a great entry point. But it's just a joy. It's a joy to read. There's something to me so thrilling about someone that intelligent, um, who writes well. Uh, the Culture Industry by Adorno. Um, Gotta read it. Gotta know what's going on around you. Again, um, Adorno comes from the Frankfurt School, which is a revisionism of Marxism. Uh, the the critique of Marxism is always that the Marxist revolution never happened. But I don't think that's the point. And I think what the Frankfurt School does with Marxist theory is um, correct and eye popping. I think, again, you'll see the world differently. Madness and Civilization by Foucault. I could pick any book by Foucault, but um, again, it's not whether one agrees or disagrees with these ideas. It's just that these ideas are so revolutionary and have changed the world in such a way that we live in that world. We live in a post Foucault world, whether we like it or not. And it's just brilliant. It's it's thrilling to read. And I was never the same after I read any of these books. Each of these books changed me. The same can be said of The Origins of Totalitarianism by Hannah Arendt. Uh, Topical, yes, as the world starts to teeter towards totalitarianism again, as fascist voices are rising in Europe and in America, it's good to know from one of the smartest people who ever lived how this happens, what's going on. And it's surprising too. It's a long book. I believe it's 650 pages or something like that, but it's worth it. It's worth the effort because, you know, because of the intelligence of the writer, but also because it's it's convincing and surprising. Um, Changed the way I think. Mythologies by Roland Barthes. There are others, of course, but mythologies is just so much fun. Come on, it's just such a blast. And again, changed the way I looked at the world. I remember reading it in high school, and just like the culture industry, just like yeah. Why isn't anyone else saying this? Um, all these books I feel draw the curtains and let in the sunlight so that we can see what's happening around us. Orientalism by Edward Said. Again, we live in a post-Orientalism world. Obviously, he owes a big debt to Foucault, but nonetheless, um, the way that Orientalism saw, exposed the imperialist, colonialist, um, pseudo scientific ways that university departments treated non European culture and cultural productions changed the world. So those are my 13 non-fiction books that everyone should read. Um, and, you know, um, yeah, if there's any I forgot, let me know. Um, or if you have a quarrel with any of them, let me know. But these books changed my life.